Clash in Paris is in the books, and you boys are back. Thank God. Welcome to the Wrestling Council. Welcome to the Wrestling Council. I'm your host, Comic Book Bob. Joined as always by my good friend, Hollywood Frank.
Back in the house, baby.
Yes, thank God. You can catch us here. Well, usually you can catch us here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about all the news and wrestling. It has been a rough couple of weeks, though, people. Let me tell you. You put that across the bottom there. Yeah, like I said, see, that's how long it's been. Like we're completely out of sorts. A lot of family stuff going on, guys. Some of it got resolved. Some of it didn't. Been rough, especially for this guy over here, man. He's dealing with a lot right now. So please, thoughts and prayers go out to Frank and his mom dealing with that. I also wanted to say I appreciate all the thoughts and prayers that went my way from my pops. He's home, just to give you guys an update. He's back home. He's doing a lot better. Still not sure what caused the allergic reaction that caused this situation to begin with, but his pneumonia is taken care of. The infection that he got, the cellulitis, is under control. So and the AFib as well. So they did a good job on taking care of him. So I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate all the thoughts and prayers. And also just tonight, Miss Courtney, longtime fan of the show. She lost her father today, so keep her in your thoughts and prayers as well, guys. She's definitely living our nightmare, so keep her in your thoughts. But August 2025 can fry ice in hell. Dude, it was actually really nice here in Ohio for the last it started getting hot again today. But man, it was for about a week there. We had really nice weather. Really nice weather. Thank God, it was at least one good thing happening. Yeah, it's a little rough right now for you kids, man. But we'll get through it. God, lean on your faith in God, and He'll see you through it. But that being said, how much wrestling were you able to actually watch the last couple of weeks, man? Because I had to I got lucky. I worked a bunch of overtime this weekend, so I was able to pick up a couple of shows. But man,
yeah, unfortunately, not as much as I wanted to. Just a lot going on with my mom. Back in the hospital again. She was out for not even 10 hours before she fell again, and is back in the ER at Metro in Cleveland. So.
Yeah, like I said, keep our boy in your thoughts, guys. He's got a long road ahead of him, but we'll be here for him. And then you know what? We're going to do this today, so we get a little bit of a distraction in here. So I did watch in the Castle.
Clash in Paris.
Clash in Paris. I'm sorry. Clash in Paris. I watched Forbidden Door. I've been watching 80s Tully Blanchard matches. Dude, I'm going to tell you what, man. People forget how good Tully Blanchard really was. Tully Blanchard was a freaking G, man. He was possibly the greatest WCW/NWA television champion of all time. Tully was amazing, man. Tully and Arn are still, in my personal opinion, like my favorite tag team of all time is always going to be the Road Warriors, But that version of the Four Horsemen, man, they were awesome. They were so good. And in my personal opinion, that's the standard I compare everybody else to. But I really think Tony Khan letting Tully Blanchard go as a coach, I think that was a big mistake, because I think that guy's got a lot to share.
Yeah, he does.
Russos versus Sheamus was a good match. Yeah, it was. But yeah, real quick here, just let some more people slowly filter in here. But I did catch most of Raw. I got some issues with that and everything, but yeah, we got a lot to get over there. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we do that, we're going to head going to do our favorite little segment, a little something we call the good, the bad, and the ugly. Leg kick. I agree. Tony could have 100% held the world title. 100%. He was that good. But it is we are in odd number, so it is that guy.
Yeah, this guy. A lot to go over. A lot we missed. Couple pay-per-view, pre-live events, whatever the heck you want to call them. Forbidden Door. Bam. Start off with the good. Forbidden Door. Other than 0 Hour, I don't know if there's even a bad match on the card.
No, there was not nothing that I would consider like a bad. I wouldn't even say there was, other than like you said, 0 Hour. I don't even think there was an average match on the show. I think every match was at least good.
Yeah, I could have done without the run-in from Ricochet and his with the Hurt Syndicate. I could have done without that. But overall, though, I mean, it's a hell of a match. And from top to bottom, I mean, even the women's matches were great. The four-way, I think the Athena Tony Storm was better than the four-way, honestly.
Yeah, the four-way was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Because I think they really let the two ladies from the lady from Stardom and what was her name, Bozilla, and
her name.
Yeah, Bozilla and shoot, I'm trying to remember her name from CMLL, but they let them have their moments, man. They let them shine.
Yeah, they did.
And the crowd was into it, man. They were really into that. What's the name? Bozilla and God damn it, Persephone. Yeah, they were really into those two. So, but that's dude. Yeah, put Tully with Ricochet and Gates of Agony, 100%.
But again, top to bottom, and then you have great match with Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness.
Dude, I was telling people, don't sleep on that match, man. If Nigel has gotten himself into because he had a decent showing last year.
Yeah.
At All In, but if that dude hits the gym again and he's getting reps in and everything, and he's even half of what he used to be, him versus Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be a friggin' clinic, and that's exactly what it was.
And it's technical. I mean, it's a different style than if you're watching the Young Bucks doing their flippy floppy stuff, or even AAA or CMLL doing their Lucha Libre stuff. It's a different style.
It's 100% a different style, and I love that style.
So do I.
That's my favorite, man. I like you ask me who my favorite wrestlers are. It's always going to be guys that hit that kind of thing, Kurt Angle, Bret Hart, the guys who are technically sound. And that match was a clinic, dude.
You got people like baseball, love the home run, big scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
But when you can get a Nolan Ryan out there throwing possible no hitter, and just seeing pitchers going back and forth and just a pitcher's duel, it's a different ball game than when you're winning. Just a pitcher's duel, it's a 12 to 10. I mean, don't get me wrong, 12 to 10 games, fine. But when you can see a banger of a match with the two of the best pitchers in the game right now, if you were to watch Tariq Skubal and Crochet, those two guys going at it, I mean, that's worth the price of admission. If you don't like that kind of baseball, I understand. If you don't like the technical kind of wrestling or the flippy floppy wrestling, I can understand. But there's an art to that.
Yeah,
there's something
to be said to people who just have that technical ability. You know what I mean?
It's old school with guys like Kurt Angle and Bryan Danielson, and like you said, Bret Hart. I mean, it's a different style, and you got it. And I enjoy stuff like that. I really do.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
And that's my good. Like I said, the card, top to bottom, Forbidden Door, even. And it's going to be a last match for a while for a couple of guys, and that's my bad. It's Swerve Strickland, and then Will Ospreay.
Ospreay. Yeah, Ospreay's going to be out for a
while. Ospreay in his match, he's going to be out for a while. I mean, he's got the injuries. Swerve Strickland got injury, but that was probably one of the best matches of the night. That eight-man match with Ospreay and I can't remember what the guys are in there. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was friggin' it was Ospreay. It was Darby Allin. Freaking, my brain just took a crap on me.
What's his name? Who's retiring from New Japan?
Yeah, Tanahashi. Freaking Omega and
yeah,
Ibushi.
Yeah.
Good Lord, my brain just went bleh.
Versus the Death Riders and the Young Bucks.
Yep.
But for his final match, it's not his final match.
It's his final match
in England, yeah, for Tanahashi.
Yeah.
Hell of a way to go out. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But and Darby Allin being Darby Allin, man.
You knew he was going to do something crazy.
Eventually it's going to catch up to that man. Eventually it will, but
yeah.
And but like I said, my bad is we're losing Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland for who knows how long.
Strickland's going to be, I think they said, with meniscus surgery, I think it's going to be something like at least 4 months.
Yeah,
Ospreay's going to be gone for a year plus.
Yeah,
he's going to be on the shelf for a while, and this is, like you said, like not to cut you off, but they like this is the kind of surgery that changes people.
Yeah.
So hopefully he comes back, and we've always said, Will Ospreay could take his foot off the gas a little bit, and he'll still be Will Ospreay.
Yeah, definitely. But
but you hope that he's gonna be well, it didn't have to be Becky, could it have been anyone else? Yeah.
When will Ospreay win the AEW championship?
I say it'll probably be when he comes back. I think when he comes back, and which is not going to be, he ain't coming back until 2027.
Yeah.
2027.
He's got to go through the surgery. He's got to get himself better. Then he's got to get the ring rust off of there. Like,
right.
He'll push himself. I'm sure, but you don't want to push yourself too soon.
Yeah.
He's got a long career ahead of him. Don't cut it short by coming back too soon.
Yeah. And we say that about everybody. Like, I would rather them take a little extra time and get themselves, really healed up than come back too soon. And then either permanently injure themselves or be gone for even longer. But Jordan, you're gonna get your wish, man. I guarantee you. If you watch Clash in Paris, and subsequently everything, and Raw after that, AJ's coming. She's gonna be at that show that they're gonna try to put up against WrestlePalooza. Yeah, she'll be at WrestlePalooza. They're gonna stack that show, trying to
counter AEW All Out.
Yep. So you're gonna get your wish. Trust me on that. Question is, hopefully when she comes back, she gets in. Hopefully she's been in the ring for a while. And she's getting that ring rust off. She's been gone for a long time.
Well, and that leads me to my ugly, and that would be aforementioned Becky Lynch versus one Nikki Bella at Clash in Paris.
That was the drizzling shits, man. It was it was bad. Nikki clearly, because here's the thing. I love Nikki Bella or hate Nikki Bella, doesn't matter. Nikki was never the most technically sound wrestler in the ring. Okay. She was good for her time. And and I'm not going to take it away from the Bella twins, man. They did a lot to elevate women's wrestling in WWE.
You're taking away from my ugly.
But that match was awful.
You're taking away from my ugly.
No, go for it, dude.
Yes, that match.
Trust me, there's plenty of dog left on that bone. Trust me.
That match was awful. Nikki, let's move on. We need to move on. You've got a stacked young core in WWE, and you're not using them.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch versus Io, Becky Lynch versus Kairi Sane, Becky Lynch versus Stephanie, Becky Lynch versus Julia, Becky Lynch versus Roxanne, Becky Lynch versus whatever she wants to call herself, Mariah May, who's not even up yet. Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. There's so much talent on this roster. Why do we need to go to the well and get Nikki Bella?
And
why do we need to go to the well before and bring Trish Stratus back?
Dude, and not only that, but Julia hasn't had a match in almost 3 months. What the freaking hell is that? You put one of your belts on her and you haven't done jack shit with her.
I was watching a little bit more of the match between Nikki and Becky before we came on today, and just watching, and it's not just Nikki, it's Becky as well in that match. When Nikki was going between the two announce tables and slamming Becky on the table, and Becky's putting her hands down, like you can see the gap between her head and the table. Yeah. Just constantly Becky throwing her hands on the table, and her head wasn't even coming close to hitting the table. Not even close.
The cameraman should have pulled away from that shot, and it should have gone to either an overhead shot or behind the behind shot. Because we like I said, this is one of the things we criticize AEW for doing this all the time. Having an angle on shots that that does not help the situation. The fact that they held that camera angle that long is like just shows that they didn't give a crap.
This table to that table, this table to that table. It was at least a dozen, and it just kept getting worse the longer it went.
It was pretty bad.
My God. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
AJ, CM Punk's wife, I'm sure Punk is spending considerable time getting AJ back in shape. Because, as you alluded to, at the end of the pay-per-view, Clash in Paris, Seth Rollins, his match versus Punk, and the Visionaries were not allowed at ringside because they beat the crap out of Roman Reigns so he can go do his movie. Becky Lynch came out and helped her man win over CM Punk, which will set up AJ Lee coming back to WWE.
Yeah, which they've been teasing that for a while, but they're going to pull a trigger on that. Really, that's going to be, like I said, they're going to pull a trigger at WrestlePalooza to counter program AEW. The thing is, they better not screw this up. And yeah, like I'm going to tell you what, dude, man, like they really, one of the things I've always said that WWE has always done better than anybody else is their production values. They dropped the ball on that one. And so not a good idea. And you know what? And Universal, I kind of agree with you on that. And like you said, if it's a one shot, okay, that's fine. I really don't like the idea of her coming back full time. I just think she's got so much outside of it. She doesn't need to be there. So, and why tarnish what you've already got? So, sign of major desperation. I don't know if it's major desperation. I think it's a matter of TKO board. Like, the reality of the situation is, WWE did not think AEW was going to get as big of a TV deal as they did, and that put a bee in their bonnet. They're like, this means we're going to be dealing with these guys for the next 4 years, possibly 5 years. They want to make sure, the reason why this counter programming is happening is they want to make sure, they're going to try to make sure that AEW does not get another big TV deal like they did. Okay. And for all the people, if you want to trade, I've had some of these comics probably, I don't know how old you are, man, but I've had some of these comic books for as long as mostly people watching the show have been alive. So I'll hang on to them. There's a lot of memories here, man, but I appreciate it. Jordan said, I bet on SmackDown NJ shows up to set up a mixed tag match. Was 100%. 100%. And leg kick, I don't know if he should have won the title, but I definitely think that they had an opportunity to do something really, really good on Raw, and they screwed that up. So, but yeah. So that's Frank. You guys, that's your ugly.
It's my GBU. It's you're up, sir.
Okay, so my GBU, I agree with you. Forbidden Door. Like I said, when it comes to television, AEW's kind of suspect at times. They don't do everything. They don't do everything exactly right. Like I think Tony makes some sketchy decisions. But when it comes to pay-per-views, that's where AEW truly shines. And that pay-per-view, I'm going to say it right now, it dog walked Clash in Paris. There were, I don't know if, like, I see, Dave Meltzer, he's gushing about every friggin' match on that card. I don't think there was a bad match on the card. Like outside, because I didn't really watch 0 Hour, because I'm like, geez, this is long enough as it is.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either, but just looking at reading the this and that, and like who was involved, it's like, oh, okay, really?
Yeah. But the main card itself, every match was good to good to great. I don't know that, because he gave the lights out steel cage match. He gave that he said that was a 5-star match. I don't know if it was a 5-star match. That's saying a lot. But it was and that was, because usually those kind of matches are just a mess. There's some fun spots in them. They're fun to watch, but usually they're just kind of all over the place. That one was one of the better 10-man matches I've ever seen. So I'll give it that. But for me, the two matches that stood out more than anything was Kyle Fletcher versus Hiromu Takahashi. If people don't know, like I said, I'm a big New Japan guy. Everybody that watches us knows that. And some of these, and one of the reasons why I like Forbidden Door is that some of these guys that otherwise people would never know who they were. Casual fans would never know who they were. But the fact that they get eyes on these guys and people get to know who they are, to me is a huge deal. And Hiromu Takahashi is one of the better small wrestlers, small guy wrestlers that's out there. Like really, like best 200 pound or under guys. Did my mic just cut out?
Something.
Yeah. For the love of God. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I don't know if they can hear you on the podcast.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Let me see.
Can you hear Rob?
Yes, test. Okay. So it says my mic's still working all right. So something happened. It popped a little bit. So hopefully everything's okay. But that match was awesome. And Kyle Fletcher, and like we said it before, we said it again. He's a future megastar. That dude is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
And then again, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness. That match, like Nigel McGuinness before he got hurt, dude, that guy was one of the best. He was on he was on his way to becoming one of the best technical wrestlers in history in professional wrestling. And the fact that that got derailed, it sucked, It was one of those guys that the injury ended everything. And the fact that he's been able to come back and he had a match that caliber was freaking awesome. And that's on a card that I think had at least 4 like good to great matches. Okada versus Swerve, great match. Tony Storm versus Athena. That was one of the best women's matches I've seen all year. That match was fantastic. Adam Page versus MJF. That was great. So on a hugely stacked card, man, those 2 matches stood out for me. And I was a kid in a candy store. So, but yeah. And again, like I said it before and I say it again, all these titles that Tony Khan keeps coming up with, I wish to God he would just unify the Continental and the International titles and turn it into the Intercontinental title. If you're going to bring in a new title, though, you need to bring in a Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Yes.
Because there are so many guys that are under 200 pounds or under that are so talented on that friggin' card, on that roster.
And that's a title I wouldn't have a problem with Darby Allin being champion of.
I would not have a problem with Darby
him as world heavyweight champion or world champion, no.
Yeah, it's I think with him as a world champion, it would be diminishing returns. I know he's super popular, but him as a junior heavyweight championship, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. My bad. WWE's booking on Raw. I had 2 major problems with Raw this week. The first one was the booking with Jey Uso and LA Knight versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. They, after that match, and by the way, the 4-way match at Clash, I personally would have thought that would have been a better match if it had just been Seth and Punk. If it had just been Seth Rollins and CM Punk, I think it would have been a much better match. But that being what it is, they created something there between Jey Uso and LA Knight. Why they didn't just have that be, you had a chance to build something really interesting here between Jey Uso and LA Knight. And instead, you reinsert Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. That was a terrible idea. Hey, Big Daddy. Hey, yo, out in the town, burning it down. Hope it's all well with you guys. Yeah, appreciate you, Big Daddy. Give me 1 second here. Here's a hey, yo for you, sir.
Hey, yo. Be safe out there, brother. Have a good time.
Sir. And loving the videos with you and your granddaughter, man. It's freaking hilarious stuff. But yeah, and don't get me wrong. I love Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I think those are 2 guys you could literally that could put the company on their back right now. Just those 2 guys. But I feel like they dropped the ball with the booking on this. And then also, dude, did you hear the friggin' reception that AJ Styles got from that friggin' crowd? Oh my God. They lost their minds for him. I'm going to carve you up. Why they did not pull an audible and have AJ win that match against Dominic? WWE is always talking about how they build moments, right?
Yep.
That they're all about building moments now. You had a chance to build a moment and a half right there.
But they're not about building moments anymore.
Well, that's what they say they are. We're about building moments. And I'm like, okay.
They say a whole lot of crap all the time.
That crowd, my God, they absolutely were losing it for AJ. And that was probably the best. And again, part of my good was that crowd at Clash in Paris, man. They made that show feel a lot better than it actually was. But that for me, that was a huge missed opportunity, man. They could have called an audible on that and had AJ win. They didn't do it. So, and don't get me wrong, I like Dominic. I think Dominic has really developed into one of the best heels in the business right now. Missed opportunity, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So that's my bad. My ugly, I agree with you, man. Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch. That match was the absolute drizzling shits. It was so bad. She looked, and honestly, I think the reason why Becky didn't look as good as she normally does is because she had to come down to Nikki's level. Because honestly, think about this. The talent today is so much better than it was in Nikki's day. And that's not talking crap to them. That's just the way it was then. And Nikki didn't even look as good as she used to. Okay.
She has looked that good for years, several years though.
Right. But the thing is I'm talking about, like, as far as her work in the ring, man, it was not great. She had so many missed spots in that match. It was just bad. And then the look on her face, and apparently her attitude behind the scenes after that match was not great. And I agree, but I agree with you 100%. They have so much talent in that women's roster right now. And almost all of it is young, like really young. Like most of them are in like their 20s. So they're going to be around for a while. Why you're not using these pay-per-views to elevate them, I do not understand.
But, the one good thing I'll say about that is they moved on from her versus Lyra Valkyria, which is fine.
Yeah.
They can explore that in the future, but there's no reason to not use some of this talent you have.
No, absolutely not. And as good as they are, man, like I said, Julia hasn't had a match in 3 months. She's got one of your friggin' belts, your main roster belts, and she hasn't defended it in 3 months. What are you doing? Is this? I don't get it. I just don't get it. But all right, guys, that's our GBU. Go ahead and put in, like I said, you guys have been leaving your comments in there. What you think was good, bad, and ugly this week? We got to talk about AEW. They are in a little bit of a pickle right now. They've got 2 of their biggest stars are now on the shelf. Well, 2 of their biggest stars just went on the shelf. Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. Ospreay's going to be out for over a year. Swerve's going to be out for at least, I think they said 4 months. So, and already they've got, besides that, Adam Cole, he's out indefinitely. Bryan Danielson is no longer going to be in a full-time wrestler. If he might wrestle a match here and there, but that's going to be it. He's pretty much done.
Yeah, it'd be like a Nigel McGuinness type.
Yeah. Orange Cassidy is still out, although they're saying that he's about ready to come back. Jay White, they're saying he's at least a couple of 3 or 4 months away. Pac's still out with a leg injury. Buddy Matthews, my understanding is that he's going to be back soon. Eddie Kingston's going to be back soon. But you got like a big chunk of your roster, your big star roster is out. So what are you going to do? So a lot of people are really concerned about the direction that AEW is going in. I, however, think that if Tony Khan has half a brain, I think this is a major opportunity for you to elevate some of these guys that have been great stars, but you just haven't gotten who deserve a push, and who the crowd is starving for a push from.
Wardlow.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that.
Brian Cage.
Universe said his good Sheamus match. That was a good match. That was one of the better matches on the card. The bad Becky Lynch. Yeah. Cassidy supposed to be back on Dynamite. Yeah. I think Orange Cassidy, they said, is supposed to be back soon. But of everybody that's on the AEW roster, these people that you can elevate,
Von Erich.
I personally think like the 2 biggest people, like obviously MJF. He's always going to be a big part of your what you got going right now. But I personally think that, and like I said, he's probably a few months away from coming back. Jay White. Jay White is one of those guys that, like, why they have not elevated that guy already, I don't understand. Jay White, before when he was in New Japan, he was one of the best heels in the business, man. He was one of the guys that Triple H was really hot about getting, and was really upset that he didn't get him. He'd been talking about Jay White for a long time.
If you're gonna bring him back, when you bring him back, don't bring him back as a face, please.
No, bring him back as a heel, and just let him be who he is. Let him do what he does. That guy he's awesome. He's fantastic. But another thing another person, and I said, from what I understand, he's about to come back. Buddy Matthews, dude. When those Continental Classic matches that Buddy Matthews had, he was freaking, dude. He was insane. He's so freaking good. Why that guy and him and Brody King both are two guys you could easily push those two guys into your title scene and fill that roster, even if it's just for a short period of time. You know what I mean? Oh, God, I hope not. Bucks are better when they're heels, in my personal opinion. So yeah, but three guys actually. And again, we know that Tony Khan has always had a big problem with big men. He doesn't book big men particularly well. He's got three guys on his roster right now that he could insert into at least the international title scene or whatnot. That would be huge. Bill Morrissey, who when he was at All In last year, that dude was so freaking over, and he's one of the best big men they got working in the business. Bill Morrissey, Wardlow, like you just talked about, he came back, huge pop.
Yep.
Huge pop. And a guy that the crowd wants to be behind. They could book that dude. And I love that the clash between him and Takeshita that they were alluding to. There's two guys right there. Konosuke Takeshita, who just won the G1, very well might end up winning the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom next year. And that guy's a stud, dude. He's so good. And the crowd loves him. They love him. And Wardlow. You got a big deal in Wardlow right there. So right there, we just and then the fifth guy I'm talking about is Will Hobbs.
Yeah.
So right there's five guys on your roster that we just named that you could easily elevate up the card, put them in at least your mid-card title scene. And that's going to help you out a big deal right there. But there's two people, one of whom is about to come back that I think you could really slot into and they're admittedly a complete 360 from guys like Will Ospreay and Swerve, but they are so over, and they are and they're ready to go. The crowd's ready to be behind them. Mark Briscoe and Eddie Kingston. And here's the thing. I know Eddie Kingston is a very polarizing person. Okay. A lot of people don't like the way he wrestles, but man, when that dude gets out there, when that dude gets on the mic, when he's on the stick, that crowd is eating out of that guy's hand.
Yes.
Literally eating. He's one of the best character wrestlers there is. Because he's so much, he feels so much rawer than most of the other, like almost superhero level characters that are there, right? Same thing with Mark Briscoe. Overcomes adversity, is extremely capable in the read, but man, he's just got that down, dirty and gritty friggin' style. And the fans love the hell out of him. There's two guys right there that you can insert into your world title scene. And I think it legitimately changes everything. What do you think?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, yeah. Kingston is your prototypical wrestler. You know, he's kind of similar to Briscoe, but he says what's on his mind, does his thing. He's like a Mick Foley type guy, just whatever. And
they're both and they're both hard hitting, hardcore, like blue collar type guys.
Yeah. And I have no problem if you put them in the mix for the world title picture. None whatsoever. Because like you said, Swerve and Osprey are gone. MJF, you're always going to build around that guy, especially how much money they're paying MJF to be on their roster.
Yeah, MJF, I made that. I said controversially that I think MJF should take the title at All In. I mean, All Out. I think you build an eternal feud between him and Hangman Adam Page. I think that you have the opportunity to do something really amazing there, and I think you need to. MJF is their Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
To give it an example, he is their Ted DiBiase.
And Jordan, your question: Can any of the Young Bucks win AEW championship?
I think so.
Can they?
Can they? Yeah, but
yes.
Should they?
Will they? No. The problem I have with the Young Bucks is the problem I have with Jimmy and Jay. Like, you put the title on Jay, nobody really took it. It didn't get over well. They've been tag team champions and tag team for so long. I just don't think anybody really got behind Jay. Not to say he's not a good wrestler, but when you split tag teams up, what do you do with the other guy?
Yeah.
What has happened to Jimmy since he split with Jay? Like, really?
Yeah, it causes problems, especially when you have long-standing tag teams like that. When you split them up like that, you open yourself up to problems. So I wouldn't see putting the belt on the Bucks as being a good idea. Personally, I just, like I said, I like the Bucks. I think they're a great tag team. I just don't think that that's where you go with your world title. So
the only way I can see that really happening is if one of the guys gets a serious injury.
Yeah.
Like career-threatening injury. And now what do you do with Matt because Nick is out and can't wrestle for a couple years or wrestle ever again? What do you do with Matt?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. If it's Nick, that what do you do with if Matt gets out for a year or two?
Yeah. And I've seen them, they've done singles matches before. Same thing with FTR. Singles matches, Dax had some really great singles matches. Was it about a year? Was it 2 years ago? They can be great singles wrestlers. They just when you do that, you're like, what are you going to do with the tag team? Your tag team's going to fall apart. And it causes a problem. So I don't like the idea of them splitting them up. So we talked about those are ideas and everything. Now there's a couple other people that I think they could push into the world title scene that some people might think that they're not ready or that are a little on the outside of what people would expect. But these are people that I think they have these are people that have like in other companies that they've been in, they've shown that they have the ability to carry a company and to work in that world title scene, but also just people that I think one of them are just someone who's on the on the come up and is amazing. And that first person is Kyle Fletcher. Dude, Kyle Fletcher is Will Ospreay's heir apparent.
Yeah.
And those matches that those two guys had against each other were fantastic. Kyle Fletcher is like Ospreay 2.0 in a lot of ways.
Yes.
And and again, super, super young. And I get that a lot of people think that he's too young to be, pushing, into the world title scene, this soon. But how great of a freaking story could you build with that idea that the student became the world champion before the master? And then for the next year, or what have you, Kyle Fletcher is just the guy. And constantly talking about he's washed up, he's old. And then when Will Ospreay comes back, you put the two of them into a feud together, and it culminates with Ospreay taking that world title off of Kyle Fletcher. How huge would that be? That's some long-term booking that you could start on right now. And say at the end of the year, if you're not going to put that belt on MJF, put it on friggin' Kyle Fletcher and build that kid up and just let him be awesome. So that when either Swerve or Ospreay comes back, they've got a super foil to work against, Kyle Fletcher, his style's kind of different, but he really strikes me character-wise and everything as a Shawn Michaels type. Like he has that same kind of possibility to him, I think. I really do. His performance ability is second to none. That's a dude I think they could really, again, that we talk about the pillars of AEW, man. There's a guy you could slot into that position right now. When are we seeing Braun Breaker's cousin, and when is Sting's son coming out to wrestle? I don't know, dude. I'm more interested in Braun's cousin, because if you've ever seen pictures of him, that dude is friggin'
jacked.
That dude is jacked. He looks just like his dad. And if he could wrestle half as good as his dad could, he's going to be awesome. I don't know about Sting's son. I think Sting's son's a little old, because I think he's in his late 30s. He's mid to late 30s or something like that. But, who knows? But, yeah, because, DDP started his career late, but I'm more interested in Braun's cousin. But yeah, like Kyle Fletcher to me is somebody that they could go with right now. Another person, I know that he's not because of his TV shooting schedule and stuff. He's not always going to be available. But another guy that has shown that he's capable of putting that company on his shoulders is Samoa Joe. What do you think?
He is. I think Samoa Joe, he's 46. I think he knows that, hey, you know what? I've had my time.
I'm about done.
My time is to help elevate these other guys.
Yeah.
The next generation. Yeah,
and I don't think that you could build a company around him or anything like that. But he's a guy that I think you could slot in there in the immediate time frame, and he could fill that slot for a little while.
Yeah,
for maybe for 3 or 4 months, you've got somebody there that you can push in there like that.
Yeah, I just don't want to see Joe, and I don't think he would. I just don't want to see Joe turning into Chris Jericho version 2.
No, and I don't think that he would.
Because if Chris wants to go back to WWE, bye.
Chris Jericho?
Yeah.
I think they're going to work something out. But I think but here's the thing. I think we always said that Chris Jericho would probably end his career there.
Yeah.
In WWE. Once he was done, he's going to go there. They're going to put him in the Hall of Fame. And that's going to be the story of Chris Jericho. I think Jericho is one of those guys that you put him on commentary, you put him in a managerial role or something like that. I think that guy could continue to give you a lot of value in AEW. I don't hate the guy. I think the guy's one of the best.
I don't hate the guy,
but his last angle was terrible.
Yeah.
So, wherever he goes, like I said, I appreciate the guy for who he is, and AEW wouldn't be what it is without him if he hadn't been there. But maybe it's time for him to go back to WWE. Maybe it's time for AEW to move on from him. We'll see. But like I said, I've always liked the guy. I think he's great. So, two other guys that I thought you could also build around. One of them is Roosh. Roosh is a guy that we've said, and fans, huge reaction to him whenever he's around. When they were first putting Los Facciones Gobernales together, that was one of the big dudes. And when he came in, man, fans, and we've all been waiting for them to do something with him, and they've never really done anything with him. That's another guy that I personally think you could bring into, at least your mid card scene. And there's a guy that fans love, dude. When he comes out, everyone's like, Roosh, Roosh, Roosh. They love that dude.
Oh yeah, they do.
And he's good in the ring. So, and he's got a great look. He's awesome. So there's another guy. They've got like a lot of people they could pull from. They just need to. But another one is Josh Alexander. I was really disappointed with the way they've done Josh Alexander since he's come in. Brian Cage. Brian Cage is on the shelf though. Leg kick. He's got that quad tear, so he's going to be on the shelf for a while. Now he'll probably be back before Ospreay will be. But yeah, Brian Cage is another guy that I felt like they never really did. Again, Tony Khan doesn't book big men well.
No.
And that's a huge problem that he needs to get over because he's got some of the best big men in the business right now. And why he's not pushing them to the moon, or at least having them be like in like a Don Callis situation where they're using him. They're using like Bill Morrissey. Why are they not using him as a weapon in that company where when there's a heel that wants like somebody to beat someone down, like that dude, why aren't you using him like that? I don't understand Tony Khan's view on big men wrestling. But then another one, even though he's older, is another guy that you could, at least for the short term, you just paid a bunch of money for him to be there, is Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley. Hurt Syndicate is really over right now. I mean, now there's obviously some controversy behind the scenes with about how they want to win or lose. But, when it push comes to shove, they'll drop the belts to whoever you want or however you want. But Bobby Lashley's got a big presence. But again, he's another big guy that Tony doesn't seem interested in really pushing. And let's be honest, Bobby Lashley works a lot. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin both work better in a singles capacity. So the thing is right now, I think AEW has a huge opportunity right now. Obviously, losing Ospreay and Swerve, that's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yep.
But you can do one of two things. You could either try to tread water until they come back, or you could try to elevate some of these other guys who are ready to go. And in my personal opinion, if I was Tony Khan, I'd rather have a whole bunch more options than hoping to God that you can tread water until those two guys come back. And honestly, I think if you were to build more people that you could insert into the world title scene in the upper mid card title scene, the more people you have that you can insert into there, the better your options are, the better your company's going to be. And that I don't know if he's going to do that. We'll see. He's shown at times he can be very resistant to it. But if he's got half a brain, that's where you go. I personally think that's where you go. Is there anybody else that you can think of that, like anybody on the outside? Because I just thought about something like if he could get someone like Hammerstone, but again, that's a big guy, and he has his thing with big guys.
Yeah, I love Hammerstone, but no, I mean, there's none of the guys that were released by WWE that I would want to see in here,
or that I think can fill that void. No, I don't think so either.
Yeah. And you know New Japan better than I do. If there's anybody over there coming over,
I don't think New Japan has anybody right now that's capable of stepping into that megastar role, that superstar role like that. Lance Hoyt, yeah, dude, he's always been a guy that I feel like they never used properly.
Yeah.
But no, like they've got a bunch of smaller guys in New Japan that I think, like I said, if AEW introduced a junior heavyweight championship or something like that, 100%, I think those guys are amazing. But I think AEW's already got enough talent to fill that void.
I wish they would do something with Devon Eriks.
I'm starting to wonder if maybe the Von Erichs are looking around going, you know what? We like being able to go wherever we want and do whatever we want. So we're good just hanging out in Ring of Honor. So I wonder if maybe that's the situation. You got to remember their dad's also in their ear a lot.
Yeah.
So, and he's trying to avoid them kind of going down that same dark path that the rest of his family did. So there might be something there to that. But as far as like the other thing too is like, I just feel like Tony Khan it's almost like you could tell when he's losing interest in something. It's almost like he's kind of lost interest in the tag team division. I still think AEW hands down has the best tag team division in professional wrestling. It's just not being utilized right. And it's not being given the spotlight like it was the first like 2 or 3 years that the company was in existence. So
I can see that.
But I agree with you, man. I don't know why the Von Erichs haven't been on the main on Dynamite television or Dynamite Collision. I don't know why they haven't been there already. Why they're not a mainstay there? Why don't they don't have the tag belts on them?
Right.
But it is what it is, man. But anyway, I think, like I said, like I personally, I think right now AEW is in a position where obviously, losing your stars hurts, but you're in a good position right now that you can elevate some new talent and they could do some real amazing things, and you could build something really amazing for the future. Hopefully they're going to do that because I want to see them succeed. I do want to see them succeed. I love the wrestlers over there. I love the matches that they have. Regardless of whatever issues we may have with the way the company's run, the talent is always, top notch in my personal opinion. So same thing, I feel the same way about, WWE. I feel the same way about New Japan. That's the way we feel. We want them to succeed.
Oh yeah.
But that's what we think, guys. What do you guys think? Tell us in the comments, and also when the video posts, leave a comment there. But I think we're about done here. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up.
When is all out?
All Out is the 20th. So we've got about 2.5 weeks left.
Okay.
So I don't know if we want to. We'll see where we're at. I don't want to say that we're going to live stream it because last time we said we were going to live stream reactions to a show. All hell broke loose.
Yeah. Family issues.
With everything that's going on, I don't think that's a good idea. But we do need to do one of those at some point between now and the end of the year. But anyway, guys, like I said, appreciate all the well wishes and everything that we got. Hopefully, we won't be having these gaps in between the shows again. Appreciate everybody that was here.
Courtney, sorry to hear about your dad.
Keep her
thoughts and prayers with Courtney.
Yeah, keep her in your thoughts and prayers, guys. Courtney lost her father. But appreciate you all being here. Leg kick, Jordan Kirby. Appreciate you being here and being as vocal you were in the chat. Always welcome. Universal, same thing. Big Daddy, the Guardian Chaos, guys. Go check out Big Daddy's channel. Awesome history from the world of professional wrestling. The original learning tree. We were calling him that long before Chris Jericho decided to poach it. But Malacito and everybody else that was lurking. Appreciate you guys. And we will see you next week. Bye.